I want to thank you for helping me organize this meeting here today. And also the other heads of the 5 families in New York and New Jersey.
The 35-year-old son of jailed mob leader John Gotti pleaded guilty last night to racketeering, bribery, and other charges.
Racketeering is intimately tied up with any mob prosecution, and I'll explain why we're showing you that in a moment. Now, this is a week where we are going to learn, as I've mentioned, whether the Supreme Court greenlights that coup case against Trump. The other case involving his failed coup in Georgia has already been delayed past the election. Remember, that was a state racketeering case which has secured the convictions of some of Trump's co-defendants and his former lawyers. The case is slow but grinding forward. A judge recently ruled that it will go on, then rejected one Trump request to toss the whole thing. RICO is a more serious charge than the New York conviction for Trump, and it reflects an assertive strategy by DA Fani Willis. RICO is the set of laws originally written for and historically used to prosecute organized crime rings, like the mafia. Willis has also used tough laws to go after Atlanta teachers earlier in her career. That was controversial, as we've reported. Legal experts and progressives questioned if these Georgia prosecutors have overcharged people by misusing broad laws. And that can be a common tactic to intimidate or secure plea deals. And that's what brings us to our special report tonight. Our report is about the same RICO law in that Trump case and officials that range from Georgia's Republican Attorney General, Chris Carr, to the Democratic DA you've heard so much about, Fani Willis. But here's the thing. When you look at some of the way these laws are being used, especially being used against progressive and black protesters, as I'm going to show you in a moment, well, it's not really about party. It's more about questions of how our justice systems, particularly at the state level, are used structurally, and whether these RICO cases are fair. Now, if using RICO against Trump's political organization as a criminal organization was assertive and has some support, because as mentioned, there's been convictions in multiple states, if deploying it against public school teachers as if they were a racketeering operation felt like a stretch, well, applying this type of law to sometimes peaceful protesters has struck many as a total reach.
61 defendants were indicted in August. All of them are facing RICO charges.
All of them are accused of more than just protesting against the project they call Cop City.
Breaking windows and setting fires, not protest. That is terrorism.
Even if breaking windows is wrong and illegal and you can be charged for it, does that make it a RICO case, let alone, quote, terrorism, unquote, as that officer said? We are talking about some very restrictive tactics. And the question is whether people who are actually protesting the abuse of government and police powers are then facing punishment or attacks and targeting that goes beyond even the original thing they were protesting. Now, this began with a police training facility that they're building down there called Cop City, and it's going to use forest land outside of Atlanta. So there have been protests now for years down there. If you live there, it's a big local issue. Critics argue that this will be a training facility that kind of accelerates police aggression and police misconduct. There are also environmental groups concerned about the impact. So can independent citizens and protesters really be fairly considered an organized criminal entity subject to RICO or in some cases terror laws? There's no org chart or salaries or structure for most of these protesters. And I say that because this is controversial and connects to some wider crackdowns on protest and free speech in America. And I say that even if some of these individuals are found to have committed individual crimes and should maybe be, of course, held accountable for those if you broke a window or trespassed. But does that make it racketeering? These are the questions that actually face the Attorney General. His team used that same grand jury from the Trump case to indict, as you heard there, over 60 protesters, basically saying that whatever they did in protesting police misconduct and this facility I mentioned meant that they are a racketeering gang.
Activists from around the nation converging on Atlanta to protest the $91 million training center for Atlanta police and first responders.
A planned public safety training facility that has been nicknamed Cop City.
This is about how to make sure that we do safety right.
Cop City will never be built! Cop City will never be built!
More
than 60 people have been indicted in Fulton County on RICO and other charges with apparent ties to the opposition movement against the future Atlanta Public Safety Training Center.
DeKalb police deployed tear gas and flashbangs at Stop Cop City protesters.
Atlanta police should not be rewarded with their own amusement park.
That is just some of how this has been playing out for years now. And this is a clash that treads some of the typical assumptions about race or politics. Atlanta's a diverse city. It has a diverse leadership. But this is more about power, policing, and an old pattern where the efforts to protest police abuse can lead to police abuse against those protesters. They're targeting the citizenry that the state is supposed to protect. And that makes it larger than just a local debate over this facility. Sadly, these clashes have sometimes continued a tragic cycle. We could tell you police shot one of these protesters against the Cop City to death. And police say that individual had a gun and shot first, but the police shot way more. 57 gunshot wounds were found on his body in the autopsy. And that led to another cycle of escalation in these protests. The Georgia Bureau of Investigations, which is an independent statewide agency, has also charged over 20 people with what they call domestic terrorism. Violent agitators, they say, using the cover of peaceful protesters for a coordinated attack on police. And that sounds bad, and violence against police goes well beyond protest. Domestic terrorism is also a very real problem in America. But if you dig a little deeper, you find others say this was not some elaborate ruse to hide police attackers inside this protest. There was a concert. And some people there say police were lashing out at anyone present. It was basically this music festival concert. Now, Georgia lawmakers have fortified their domestic terror laws, and that was partly in response to something very different than these protests I just told you about. It was in response to a murderous rampage targeting black people at a predominantly black church in Charleston. So they wanted to, quote, empower prosecutors to charge those responsible for those kind of racist attacks. We're talking murder and hate crimes. We're not talking about protests that get out of control. And yet that is the law being used now. As recently as last May, an Atlanta SWAT team raided one of these Stop Cop City activists' homes, arresting people for what was basically described as raising money for a bail fund for other activists. Then the RICO charges, 61 protesters. And that RICO indictment, which runs over 100 pages, has the Republican Attorney General, Chris Carr, saying that those people, predominantly activists, actually are an enterprise of militant anarchists. And they have virulent anarchist ideals. I'm reading from that document. And that they occupy the land for the project. Now, I will tell you, as a side note, you can accuse people of being anarchists, but then it's hard to also say that they're part of an organized racketeering criminal enterprise. Now, they're still working on constructing that Cop City site I told you about by December. The officials down there say they have to move forward on this and it will actually improve public safety.
We are going to build you a first-class public safety training center, so when your 911 call is made, we will come trained and ready to do what you expect us to do. Those that are trying to stop the training center, you will be found, you will be identified, and you will be held accountable.
And that, taken on its own, may sound okay. If you break a law, you will be held accountable. Okay. You can peacefully protest, but if you trespass or you break something, you'll be held accountable. But will you be held accountable with a law against trespassing or a law against property damage? Or will you be charged with domestic terrorism, which really seems like something else and can chill everyone else's willingness to take the risk to join any protest? Now, those activists I mentioned who were indicted are awaiting trial. The only defendant who requested a speedy trial is going through an appeals process that actually continued into last week with some developments there. Critics say there's a larger problem here of using these broad laws, which we're told are to deal with, say, terrorism or murder at a black church, but then treat activism, including, let's be specific, activism by BLM and black allied groups, to stifle free speech. And the condemnations have come from really respected groups on this, Amnesty, Human Rights Watch, ACLU, and they argue, some of them, that the larger goal appears to be to punish dissent itself. One veteran Atlanta journalist, John Rush, says it harkens back to the darkest days of the Red Scare and the criminalization of political dissent. And it's broader than Atlanta. There are other cities, including other cities, as I mentioned, with diverse leadership and Democrats in office. This is not just a red-blue thing, that are putting more money into police training facilities and sometimes what is described the militarization of police and heavy and harsh tactics. Now, there are municipal leaders who say that the training for police and having these things are necessary. That's what you want. You want professional and organized training. There are others who say that you're seeing the mainlining of the very police brutality and excessive force and prosecutorial overreach that was the original thing that so many people were protesting in those largely unified and racially diverse BLM protests of 2020. So there's no simple answer here. And as I mentioned, this is not a thing about Republicans and Democrats like so many issues can be boiled down to. Atlanta is diverse and democratically run for the most part, although the Republican Attorney General is a big part of this, as I mentioned. So we're seeing, after all the talk and all the calls for change, in many states, and definitely in the South, a continued bipartisan crackdown, not only on protest, but on free speech itself.
Hey there, MSNBC fans. I'm Luke Russert, and be sure to join me, Rachel Maddow, Jen Psaki, Lawrence O'Donnell, Steve Kornacki, Joy Reid, and many more September 7th in Brooklyn, MSNBC Live Democracy 2024. Click on the link for ticket information. We will see you there.